Welcome to the Flower Prophecies, a podcast exploring all things flower essences and remedies and flower therapy, and how this vibrational plant medicine has the potential to heal and shift our individual and collective health and consciousness. We'll be diving deep into the specifics of individual essences, nature's energetics, emotional healing and growth, as well as hearing client case studies, hosting special guests and professionals, and I'll be sharing my own personal explorations and philosophies channeled straight from the flowers. Through my own unearthing, I have discovered what I believe to be the most profound teaching of the flowers, and I now wish to share with you the practice of alchemizing fear into beauty. Before we begin today, I wanted to talk to you about my Relational Resonance sessions. These are my flower therapy one-on-one deep dives into where you are out of resonance within the relationships in your life and in your foundational relationship with self. So together with the flowers, we will unearth and observe the deeper emotional aspects that are playing into any current disharmony or stagnancy you are experiencing. Throughout the session, I will be offering emotional guidance and support and an intuitively guided reflection of your holistic experience, allowing for new perspectives and awareness to be found, as well as sharing insights from the flowers themselves. So it is my intention to offer a safe space in which you feel seen and heard, as well as energetic tools and tangible practices to heal and grow from this place. And from here, you can choose to add a custom remedy to your session, which we will co-create together, and you will be given all of the remedy insights and details so that you can work with the remedy on a really deep level. Soon to launch are my Relational Resonance packages. So these are packages that have been curated as your own self-guided flower therapy journey through 3 consecutive flower remedies created for a specific relational realm. You will unearth the energetic blocks, belief systems, and behaviors so that you can heal and up-level this area of your life. So these will come with pre-recorded videos to accompany them, detailing how to integrate the specific medicine for enhanced transformation, as well as emotional guidance tools and techniques. These remedy packages will be in the realms of nature, kin, intimate, friendship, and calling, and they will all have the foundation of your relationship to self. These packages will be available soon and can be utilized in conjunction with my Relational Resonance for enhanced healing and unearthings. For now, my sessions and custom remedies can be found on my website at hekahealing.com.au, and you can also sign up to be notified as soon as the remedy packages are available. Hello, I am hoping that you cannot hear the mower that is in the background here. Fingers crossed, but welcome back to the Flower Prophecies. And this week I'm going to be doing a Essence in Focused episode. So I can't actually remember the last Essence in Focus episode that I did. It may have been on Poinciana where I did a episode with Danae, or I'm not sure if I've done one since then. Anywho, I have been receiving some feedback around these particular episodes, and you all seem to be loving them. So I thought I would go ahead and do another one. And of course, there are synchronicities involved in this one. So the synchronicities of today's episode, I was trying to decide what essence to do the episode on, and I had the intuitive hit of the bird of paradise. And so many of you will know bird of paradise, and it's very common in Australia, and it is a beautiful flower and very unique looking as well. And it really kind of gives off that appearance of a bird or a stork. But yeah, so I decided I was going to do the episode on the bird of paradise. And when I was gathering my notes, I was looking back through some conversation history where I'd been speaking about the bird of paradise and how it was unfolding for me. And I realized that I had mentioned to a friend that I was going to be, or that I wanted to take the bird of paradise, or I felt called to take the bird of paradise a second time. But I had finished with it at that specific time, and I was going to have to come back to it, and I knew that I was going to have to come back to it, and I had completely forgotten about this. And when I saw that, I realized that now is the time to come back to it, because when I look and reflect on all of the properties and all of the actions and all of the ways that it unfolded for me, it is a lot of what I'm going through right now. And so I know that it is calling me to be worked with again. So maybe this will be part one of this Essence in Focus episode. And once I take it again, I can do a little part two as well and see what else transpired from it. But to get going, I want to, talk about how actually when I first started, or when I was first drawn or called to working with this flower, to making the remedy myself, I knew that it was kind of calling to me, and I wasn't acting on it. So I was delaying making the remedy up. And at the time, I was like trying to tell myself that it just wasn't the right time, and that I didn't think that it was the right, like it was wanting to be made up at that time. But deep down, I think I knew that I had to take it. I had to create the remedy from it. But even to the point where, one day I went to make it, and as soon as I, sat down and started working with it, the sky clouded over, and, I was like, can't do it, can't make it today, and avoided making it again. So from the very get-go, I was like kind of blocking what it had to offer me, which is really funny. And you'll see why once I get into it. So the bird of paradise to me came through as this, I want to speak to, like, I guess in astrology terms, our north node, right? So our north node is one of our, what they say is one of our destiny placements. And that's really what was coming through for me when I was making up the bird of paradise. It was that this flower is our north node, and it's about bringing our mind, body, and our spirit into coherence towards the trajectory of our destiny. And so it talked to sort of this kind of finding your path to your north node, basically. So as well as this, it was kind of like showing me that we have to kind of hold a respect and a reverence for our individual path, but also for everyone else's at the same time. So this understanding that our destiny and our purpose path is 100% unique to us. It is 100% unique to us, and everyone else's destiny and purpose path is 100% unique to them. So it's like having this respect and this reverence of knowing that our path is not going to look the same as someone else's. It's never going to be the same as someone else's, so it allows us to then kind of bring back into our awareness what our destiny is individually to us. We get so lost. I think we get so lost in all of the shoulds and the shouldn't and what we think we should do. And this message was coming up for me again not long ago. And I shared a little bit of a little snippet of my thoughts on Instagram about this and how we can get so easily sidetracked with others' paths and others' ways of moving toward their destiny that we don't even realize when we're stepping off our own path, and I think the bird of paradise is this flower brings us back to this real clarity by knowing just exactly what is for us. And it's kind of like shows us that it brings all the pieces back together. It shows us like how each individual piece of what we are doing and what we have within our lives and what we have created, how it all sort of sinks into one to be this like direct sort of path to our destiny, and how everything that we've created can sort of come together to move forward. And when we allow all of the little pieces in between that we have picked up from others, that we have taken on board as our own, when we allow them to fall away, all of the pieces we have created form this really clear and beautiful path towards our own destiny. And so, I found that this message was really strong with the bird of paradise. And when I began taking it, it hit me hard straight away with like this realization of all of these stories that I had taken on that weren't mine. And a lot of the time, though, we do that unintentionally, unconsciously, but we do that as a form of self-sabotage, because ultimately our North Node, our destiny path, our purpose path is scary to us. It invokes a fear in us because, it's a path that we've never traversed before. Basically, when you do look to the North Node in astrology, it talks to how it is this new realm of work. So we've come from our South Node, our karmic patterns, and our North Node is stepping into a new way of being. It's almost stepping into the opposite way of being in a healthy way from our South Node. And so it invokes a fear in us, and naturally we resist that. And so when we sort of get curious and start to really tune into what it can look like and what is there for us, the bird of paradise offers us this little insights into all of the ways that we've been resisting it and all of the sabotages we've set in place. And this really happened for me. So I'm sure I've talked about it on the podcast before, but I guess for most of my life, I've really identified as being a bit unorganized and all over the place and unstructured and undisciplined and, messy, and like I don't finish things off. And I always, identified that as that. So when something would arise and that happened, I would just fob it off and say, yeah, well, that's just me. If I left a project unfinished, I would just say, that's just me. And it got to the point, actually, it has gotten to the point a lot in the past where I actually have been telling myself, well, I'm not the sort of person that can do that. I'm not the sort of person that can sit down and create, all of these really, systemized, structured sort of things within business or in life. It's just not something that I can do. And I was convincing myself of these stories and telling myself for so long that it's just not what I do. And I would tell others, I would tell everyone that this just wasn't the sort of person I am, right? And it's really funny because when I started taking the Bird of Paradise, it was like a slap in the face, like I said. And I realized that actually these were all just stories that I'd been telling myself so that I didn't have to follow this path. So I didn't have to step onto, the path towards my destiny, towards my purpose, towards, the culmination of all the work that I've done, and having it actually unfold how I want it to. Because I'd been telling myself these sabotage stories, and it was really obvious, like so obvious to me in those moments, how much I had done this. And it was just like I can't even sort of explain how big of how much I identified with this, like so much. And it is played out a little bit since taking the Bird of Paradise the first time, but I've shifted a lot. Though it's like our North Node, it's one of those harder sort of things to embody. And so I'm on this path, right, to really setting in stone that I'm capable of all of these things. And these stories that I've told myself are actually not mine, and I am not the things that I keep, relaying that I am. But the Bird in Paradise really sort of gave me this bird's eye view of what I was doing. So it gave me it spoke to me about, as well at the start, it spoke to me about how within the mess, we cannot see the big picture. But when we take a bird's eye view, we can see the big picture. And I think this speaks to two things. I think this speaks to, we can see how we ourselves are kind of interfering with the bigger picture, and how when we take a bird's eye view, we can see what needs to fall away, but also we can see what needs to fall away that we've taken on from others. But when we do take that view of it, and when we are able to see all of the different pieces of what we've created and all of the different experiences that we've had that have contributed to our direction, that when we view it from above, we can just see how things so perfectly and synergistically sort of slot into each other. So it gives you like this full picture that's completely unique to you. And so it's this essence is a lot to do as well with that individuality and that real uniqueness of your own path. So it shows you, as well as that, what individual gifts you hold, and what individual gifts and traits that you can embody to take that North Node. Because when we also take on other people's opinions, we stop ourselves from fully stepping into those gifts and those traits, because again, they're not like someone else's. We place that self-sabotage on ourselves because we're unsure, we're fearful. And so it also reveals to you your gifts that you have to go down these paths, to follow your truth, to really work towards what it is you're here to do. So it gives you, like, again, this reverence for your individual journey, because you start to see all of your gifts, you start to see what it is that you have that will contribute to this world. And so I think it's a really beautiful essence, although it's like can be quite like I guess, confronting to see just how much you have stood in the way of what you are here to do, stood in the way of what you believe you are kind of calling in. Although it's like quite confronting that happens, it's also such a beautiful essence to really give you that respect and that reverence for what you're here to do. So, what else about this essence? Yeah, so it sort of encourages you to take responsibility, right? Because it shows you where you're sabotaging self, where you're sabotaging what you're here to be, what you're here to do. And it shows you that it's time to take responsibility. So you are the only one that can take responsibility towards choosing to go down that path of your destiny. You're the only one that can take responsibility towards choosing, fulfilling your purpose here. And so many times we also kind of come up with these stories of why we can't choose this, or that it's not our, that we're not the individual getting in the way. We shrug off our responsibility and try to place it elsewhere. And the bird of paradise really shows us that we are responsible for creating our destiny. We are the ones that are responsible for creating our reality. We are the ones responsible for creating what we're here to create, and no one else is. And we can't actually give that power away, right? So it's really, it's a really powerful essence, and I think it really comes in quite strongly and quite directly. And if you look at the flower itself, it is these like really sharp lines and angles, and the most prominent point of it is like this bright orange, right, which is like our creativity, our creative potential, and it's directing up towards the cosmos. It's like pointing us in that direction. And then it comes down to like these sort of points offshooting to the sides that are purple, and this is like our spirit, right? So it's like our spirit is here in our body, and then it comes down to the thickest sort of pointed body of it, and that is our heart and our body. It is greenish and pinkish, and it really stands directly and tall and shoots off the plant quite high, and it's just bringing all parts of us into coherence and directing us towards our creativity. And this is what it spoke to me of. This is what it relayed to me. And it also has these has the old blooms of the plants, even with the stalks that are dead, but they still sit there hanging onto the bush. And it shows us this whole life process from our birth to our death. It's like our destiny, our path, our life path. So I think it just symbolizes that really beautifully. I'm excited to see how it's going to unfold for me a second time around, because all of these themes, right, are presenting to me now. I have these choices that I need to take responsibility for. And I have, the old self-sabotage stories coming up, although they're not as prominent, they're there, and I can choose to let them in, or I can choose to step forward and take a different path. And yeah, it'll be so interesting to experience what the bird of paradise has for me this time around. So when I created the essence, when I sat with the plant, and really devoted my energy to it, it gave me this message that a bird doesn't know how to fly at birth, but when it does fly, it knows where it's going. And I think that's just, a really beautiful reminder that we don't have all the answers to our destiny when we, start off. But when we when we choose to fly, when we take flight, we can see exactly where we're going. We know exactly where we're going. So yeah, I think this was a really powerful essence to work with. One of the other things that the bird of paradise showed me is that while we're all here to live out our own individual path and journey, we're all here in a shared pursuit of happiness, right? So we're all here doing it together. And so just this understanding of our own uniqueness can allow almost like a connection, a deeper connection to one another. I think before we have, previously we have gotten stuck in, if someone's not like me, I can't connect to them deeply. Whereas I think that's the reason we can connect to others deeply, because we all have our own unique sort of view, our own unique journey to share with each other. And we can all take our own unique sort of vantage point and help others with it and connect to others in ways that if we're just the same as them, we can't do so, right? So it's like this really beautiful reminder that being uniquely ourselves can bring us closer together, and we're all here to find what lights us up uniquely. So it's just so much more beautiful when we can do that with one another by our side. So I think that is, something really beautiful. And I look forward to sharing this essence with some others and seeing their experience of it too. If you would like to learn more about the Bird of Paradise or work with me one-on-one, you can find me at Heka Healing Flower Therapy on Instagram, or at hekahealing.com.au. And I have a few different offerings now in different capacities to work with me. And I would love as well if you enjoy these episodes to leave a comment or rate or subscribe or share on socials. And I would love to hear from you if there's any flowers you'd like to hear about. Maybe I've worked with them, maybe I haven't, but let me know if you want to dive deep into something specific. I love to hear from you guys. So don't hold back. Well, I hope you enjoyed, and I will be back next week with a very special guest. I have been loving my guests this season, and I think you guys are going to love the few that I have to come as well. So I will see you then.